Join the movement. Go all electric with Pure Electric.
Good morning. My name's Adrian, and I'd like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land from which I'm presenting, which is the Cubby Cubby people, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. So today I'd like to walk you through our renovation project. I purchased a house on the Sunshine Coast where I grew up. It was previously a rental property, but it hadn't been updated for many years. It's a simple 3-bedroom brick veneer tiled roof, solid but nothing particularly fancy, and we decided that if we renovated, we'd ensure that it was fully electrified and as self-sufficient as possible, using the best materials that we could within our limited budget. So our starting point for the project was actually on top, on the roof. It was previously a dark color. It was in poor condition, so we did some repairs, and we decided to choose a lighter roof coating with a high TSR, which is a total solar reflectance value. Not always easy to find, but looking through the data sheets from the coating manufacturers, we found one that suited, and we coated the whole roof before putting the solar in place. And a few other small things, such as adding whirlybirds to improve with ventilation and fixing up the existing insulation on the inside. And we also made sure that we had an understanding of the expected load and electrical load within the house before we put the solar in place, and I'll talk to that a little bit more in the following slides. And as we went about renovating the interior, we looked at small things that would potentially make a significant difference. The standard things like replacing all the lightings with LED, but also things like when it came to fans, using DC or EC fans rather than what was there previously, allowing us to run them on slow speeds or in reverse in winter to help with air circulation. We have an existing split air conditioning unit that we predominantly use for heating rather than air conditioning. So we use it in winter in combination with the fans. But there's also quite a lot of windows and glass in the property. So ideally, we'd be able to replace those with double glazing. But in this case, within the budget, we looked at options such as honeycomb blinds, and especially dual honeycomb, which offer a higher insulation, and they've been quite effective in improving the internal comfort both in winter and summer. So one of the big considerations was also the electric vehicle, which we had already, and maybe some people think that with EV you want to maybe charge as fast as possible, and we thought a little bit differently about that, and actually looked at how we could charge within the PV electricity that we're generating. So in this case, we actually decided to use a slower speed charger, and we generally charge at 3 kilowatts. And that's sufficient for pretty much most of our needs. So that allows us to also have some excess, and we use that in other parts of the house, which I'll explain shortly. So we had to move the hot water system from the inside of the house as part of the renovation, and we thought long and hard about potentially replacing it with a heat pump system, which would be more efficient. But at the same time, we also had quite a lot of excess solar generation that we weren't using. So the decision at this stage is to keep it in place. It is electric, consumes about 2 kilowatts. But what we are able to do using the technology such as the Catch Solar Relay is to configure it so that it just charges, or the hot water is effectively being heated during the day when there's excess PV available. And even if there isn't, we can still configure it so that we're not running out of hot water, and we've never had that situation. And it's been really effective in using some of that excess solar generation. And when the time comes, we'll look to replace it with a heat pump using natural refrigerants. We've also put in place an induction cooktop, which we love to use. It's fantastic. And also went a step further with an electric barbecue as well. So we use those in conjunction with the excess solar PV as well. Some other features within the house, we certainly try to use recycled and reclaimed materials wherever possible. Some of that's in the flooring, in the cabinetry, natural materials in the carpets, some recycled, some natural, low VSC paint, etc. And even some of our garden equipment, such as lawn mowers, etc., are now electric as well. So we've managed to remove all fossil fuels and combustion from the property, which we're really pleased about. One of the key things for us is managing the energy that we're producing, and we've seen there's quite complicated ways to do that, but we try and sort of keep it simple. We have an iPad sitting on the kitchen bench, which gives us a clear view of what we're producing and what we're consuming, and that helps determine when we do things. We like to make our own bread, so we'll run the oven when there's sufficient solar generation available, or whether that's the dishwasher or washing machine, etc. It's also key, I think, to monitor base loads, things that are running all the time, things like refrigerators that are always plugged in and running. So we have small energy monitors for those. But once you have an awareness of your different loads, you can then move them to the appropriate time of day and make use of the solar generation. There's still work to do, of course. The main area that we're looking to focus on is the nighttime and shoulder period energy use, as you can see on the graph there. We know that a battery is a great solution to that, of course. We just happen to have a really significant size battery sitting in the driveway most of the time. And our EV has the vehicle to home and vehicle to grid capabilities. We're waiting for the market for bidirectional charges to mature a little bit further, for perhaps the costs to come down a bit more, and that should allow us to use the vehicle as a battery and to take care of some of that evening and nighttime load, which should allow us to remove most of our grid consumption. There's a few other small things as well, but they're the key features. Thank you for joining me and your interest in Sustainable House Day. Thank you.